Hey there guys, it's Metro. We're back. Back again. I got some changes to show you guys. I've been working on this a bunch, man. This actually, I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe my emotions on this, but yeah, I talked about it in the last episode. It's something. So we're back. Yeah, hitting it hard overnight. Basically, over the last night, I did some big changes to things. So let's talk about those. Today's episode is going to be a lot of this. Okay, so. Hold on, we gotta turn this off. This is way too loud. Anyway, when I first started messing with the TBC thing, like I've already kind of gone over this, but it helps for me to give my whole train of thought whenever I make these conversations happen. So just bear with me on that. My original idea, like I said, was to make like infinite talents. That didn't work. So then I wanted to make each talent point really fucking matter, okay? And so like I always did this 2x talent thing, and it didn't really feel like it went, like it seemed kind of weird, honestly. I'm going to pick these up, by the way, because I do think we can actually do dungeons, seemingly. But we might try it, to be honest. So, anyway, the whole situation with the talents was always like, how can I make the talent choices matter? Because as of right now, we're definitely going to do that quest. They don't matter. Like, it feels like a lot of just like, it's really passive, and I think a lot of people don't give that the truth that it deserves. Like, they don't sell that as the truth. You know what I mean? It's hard to put it the right way, but like I think a lot of people are really disingenuous about the classic talents, especially actual classic. Now, I do think Wrath is better, and the Death Knight talent tree is a great example of it being better. But yeah, I do think prior to Mop, talents were really bad. Really, maybe even you could say Kata was better, but I don't know the Kata talents at all. But yeah, it's definitely not like, I mean, the rows are just so useless. Some of these spells, not on Blood Death Knight, but on some specs in Classic, they're really, really bad. And it was just totally like, okay, we just need 5 points in this row so we can get out of here. But, I wanted that to not ever be the case. So I buffed immense amounts of stuff, made immense amount of changes, right? And so I took a lot of that, like I thought that was the way forward. And then I ran into the Wrath talent trees, and I realized, okay, they're a lot better. Now, a big problem with the Death Knight tree we already talked about is the fact that it is actually, a lot of it is like server side coded wise. So yeah, not a lot of the options work. Like we can't, this one, I can't make any new talent. Well, I could change it, but it's not going to change. Like, yeah, it won't work. It's always going to be 5%. But there are some that we can change, okay? And so those ones I did have a look at. And there's could be some other ones. But yeah, if you're very familiar with this talent tree, you'll immediately notice we made some massive changes to this talent tree, okay? So I'm going to go through all of them. So we have now 5 ranks of this, where it was only 2 before. I have no idea why it was 2 ranks. I think they want certain amounts of talents. See, they're 10 in the first 3, or actually it's not even 10 here. But anyway, I think there's like a set number of talent points that they wanted for each class. And originally, Classic, it wasn't like that. Some had 22, some had 19. It was all over the place. I think that was the result of them rebalancing talents, though, over the year. But anyway, so yeah, we added 5 for this, okay? Then we have no change here. Yeah, okay, no change here. Then here we added extra, so another 2. Vendetta's normally 3, now it's 5, okay? I really like this also, maybe it's not obvious, but I really like this also because it allows you to be a Blood Death Knight. Like, that's all you are. You put all your talent points into Blood, and that's not, like, suboptimal. You know what I mean? I like that a lot more, having, like, an actual, I'm a Blood, But anyway, so we did that. I was thinking about Veteran in the Third War. It seems kind of overpowered, to be honest. 5% stamina from a talent and 10% strength, so... I could nerf that and change it around a little bit like we did with some, I don't know that we did that with these. But either way, we could mess up with that, but I think we'll just keep it. Okay, we're done with that quest. So, we also got a proc. Holy spell damage, no thanks. Okay, so now we're starting to add things. Now adding things is a lot harder. Doing what I did might sound easy because of the database editing and stuff usually being the way you do it. But because of the talent DBC is actually like, I don't know how you describe it, but it's like the key that is sorted by the important variable on the chart is the second variable, the second row, or the second column, that is. And because of that, the program that everybody uses to do this sorts it, like, it doesn't sort it by the first row, but that's when you add it, you can only add it at the end. So if you added it at the end and the second ID is not in order, it will return an error and you won't be able to make changes. So if you don't do what I'm about to explain to you, the only change you could make is to whatever the last talent tree is. That's the only place you can add new talents. Otherwise, you'd have to replace talents that already existed on the sheet, right? And so, ironically, in TBC, that was Prop Pally. So that actually worked out kind of well. But in Wrath, it's Cunning Pet. Because pets get talents, apparently. I didn't even know that was the thing, but apparently pets get talents. Oh, I was supposed to pick up the Fullborough quest. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, pets get talents. We just heard. Pets get talents in TBC or in Wrath. So yeah. So in order to do this, what you have to do is you have to export the entire thing to a CSV file, and then you can add rows wherever you want, and then you re-export it back to the DBC file and save it that way. So that's, yeah, a lot more work than just changing IDs, which is basically. And then, so, you know, there's not a 5th rank of Vendetta in the game. So I had to make the 5th rank, copy paste the 3rd rank, change the values, add those IDs of the talent into the DBC. You know, luckily not export it, right? But so then these ones, I added new ones. So we've always liked this idea of adding, like, either interesting bonuses, like set bonuses, or like in the past we've seen trinkets.
Hello.
This quest's actually gray.
Safe travels.
Huh. Oh, we are 20 already. Yeah, kind of waste time coming up here, but what are these quests? But yeah, anyway, so we added some set bonus. Let's just keep moving here. Set bonuses. When activate Blood Tap, you gain 12% damage reduction. Now, I foolishly thought that was Rune Tap, because that's what Rune Tap does in Live WoW. So I assumed when I saw a DK tank set bonus, it was going to be Rune Tap. So that's a pointless spell because we don't have that talent. We don't have that spell yet. It's a pointless talent because we don't have the spell yet. But someday we will. So I won't be taking that talent yet. Nothing else changed there. Nothing else changed there. Okay, I'm going to save this one for last. We're going to move around this one. This one's going to blow your mind. This is something I've been really liking a lot, but we'll come back to that one. This tier, I don't think we changed anything, right? Yeah, no, I don't think there was any changes. This tier, okay, here, so we expanded this to 5. And I really like this because, to me, I feel like a Blood Death Knight should predominantly use the blood spells. And it doesn't seem like you would do that in the way the combat is paced out right now. Okay. Now, I guess we'll go down. I have Strike of Runic Corruption. Increases your Death Strike's damage by 1% for every 1 runic power you currently have, up to 25%, which is not very good, to be honest. I didn't know about the max 25% thing. But yeah, that is a glyph. So I took the glyph's spell and put it into the talent tree. I thought that was a cool idea. Here's one that we skipped. It is called Marileth Strain. So a little conversation with Shadowlands in mind there. This is a talent. This is a set bonus as well. Your Blood Plague ability now has a chance for its damage to be critical strikes. So I like that one. That seems to fit well with Blood. Even though Blood Plague is actually in this game it comes from a Blood Plague Strike. It is not a blood spell quite yet, but it's still, you know, thematically blood. So I feel like, you know, instead of putting this in the unholy tree, I feel like this was the right choice. Now we already showed that. Okay, we also extended this to 5. This was normally 3. Critical strike bonus damage. I love this concept. I didn't realize this was such a big concept in the early years. I had never heard this brought up when I was younger, but I guess they got rid of that concept entirely at some point. And then I moved Will and Necropolis over to make room for Strike of Runic Corruption because of that being the synergy we wanted there. And then that's it. We made no additional changes to these, but there's now like probably 10 more talent points in that tree. and that's going to fill it out nicely, and we could continue to add more. But here's the big one, okay? Honestly, kind of scared to reveal it. Bloody Vengeance. So this existed already. I talked about this, I think, even in the last episode, about how I love the concept of vengeance. I love it as Paladin, and I think it's going to be great as Death Knight too. But you might see something very interesting there. 1% bonus stacks 99 times. So I was trying to brainstorm how we can make like really interesting builds, okay? Like in the TBC experiment, it was to make like a build that, you know, was like very capable of never dying effectively. And I really like that idea because I think that's kind of like, if you can make that happen in the face of content that's tuned for 25 people, then you've mastered the gearing and the content delivery of that gearing. You know what I mean? Like if that works, then we're done. Like we won. You know what I mean? And it never came to fruition because I never got to test it, but I assume it would work based on the changes I made in the TBC client. So that was one of them. And this is actually, it's a funny thing that a lot of people probably don't recognize and probably have no idea that it even exists. But in Torghast, there is a talent, or a anima power, I think it's what they call them, that allows you that basically infinite stacking damage buff for any mob that gets hit by Death's Due. Okay? And so I adored this. This is one of the reasons I fell in love with Torghast, and especially fell in love with the boss rush Torghast, because it was like the ultimate Death Knight. Like, there was so much good for Death Knight there, and I think that was the best one, honestly. It was. We still need 2 pillagers. Maybe there's some in here. Oh yeah. Well, only one in here actually. But yeah, it was the ultimate Blood Death Knight, because what I was able to do was I was able to basically just like bulk out, like go in a way that I will never die and just outlast, because Death's Due would constantly be making me do more and more damage to the enemy. Fucking insane idea. I don't know how they came up with that, because to my knowledge there's nothing like that anywhere else in the video game. Maybe in Torghast there's other options, but I've never seen anything like that in a while. Because honestly, it would be really overpowered. It's like rife for abuse. And I think that's partially why Torghast was such a great idea, because it allowed them to make things that would be rife for abuse and not be abusable, you know? So this is kind of like my whole idea has come from these Torghast concepts, to be honest. So yeah, I love that, and I want that to be a feature. Now, we made some big changes to the way the spell works. First of all, it used to be 3 ranks. Now it's only 1 rank. This may be overpowered, but I think there's no better way to do it, honestly. Like, we could have 0.25% every 99 stacks. I don't like that. Let's just stick with 1. And what we did was, it used to be... what happened there? Did I not save it? Well, we're not going to have it today anyway, but I need to change this before I forget. I might not have actually saved this. Yeah, I didn't save this. Damn. Wait, or did it not work the way I thought it worked? Oh, I see what the problem is. Why is it 15? Okay, so what it's supposed to be doing is it's supposed to be way shorter. It's normally, as you see, 30 seconds. It lasts 30 seconds, so it's like you don't have any problem keeping this up during combat. But I wanted it to be a little bit harder to keep up, so I thought I'd put it at 10 seconds. I guess I went with 15 for now. Okay, so the spell's wrong, although I don't know why. These like code things are meant to reference another code, but I don't know what code that is. That's like the wrong 20,050. That's like the wrong rank, I think. Is this original Vengeance? Did they make a typo or like a lazy copy paste? Oh yeah, it's the original Vengeance. Wow, that's insane. Blizzard made like a really weird error there. Okay, so we gotta change that. It doesn't matter. It's just like a tooltip thing. But yeah, they have the wrong ID in there, so let's change that. Okay, so it's not actually an error on my part. but we'll have to change that at some point. So anyway, it's a tooltip bug. But yeah, it's going to only last for 15 seconds. Now, honestly, I don't know why it should be 10, I think. 10 is the right number. Because I think it'd be very realistic that you would not crit more than once every 10 seconds. Like, unless you are properly gearing for it and ready for that. So it makes you really want to stack crit and attack as fast as possible, you know? It benefits that. And most importantly, it's going to drop in between combat. That was my goal. So you can't just chain. Like, I mean, my character probably can right now, but you can't just, like, chain from pack to pack and have 99 stacks super easy. You know what I mean? I think there's no better way to do that. I mean, there might be a way to make it actually drop during combat, but I'm not aware of how to do that. I think the game does offer that, obviously, but yeah, I don't know the actual answer to that question. So anyway, that's how we'll handle it. And we'll see how it goes. It's probably going to be overpowered on this character because this character is already overpowered. But fuck it, we'll see what happens. Let's get this chest, huh? I don't know if we need to, but fun to do. But I think like the gameplay there is going to be really good. And I'm really excited to see how this version of Blood can niche. Now we're not done. There's a couple more talents that we got to take a look at, but that's it for Blood. That's all the actual Blood talent points. So we're going to take a little bit of a break from putting talent points into Blood for the next few points here because we made some adjustments to the, well, we did some very minor frost changes. The big thing I made was the Icy Reach talent. I feel like that's way better. Turning Icy Reach, or Icy Touch into a 40-yard spell is the right choice. I don't know why they stopped at only 2 ranks of this. Seems kind of weird. But I don't think I made any other changes to the Frost Tree. I didn't add any talents to the other trees just because it's a lot more work, like I said. Oh, wait, where did we actually do this quest? Not here, I guess. Whatever happened to the... Oh, we have to go to Lakeshire. Yeah, we gotta do that first. I wanted to do the messenger, but who knows where he's at now. Anyway, unholy. Okay, not big changes, but big changes that are going to impact this playthrough. You might have heard me talk about it already. Unholy command, five tiers or ranks or whatever. So this is going to take it down to a 10-second cooldown. Now there was also an option that whenever you get a kill, it's a glyph. It resets Death Grip, which I think is actually a talent in Live WoW. But that's, I think, a little too overpowered for this type of game because you're only ever going to kill stuff yourself. There's never, it's like not as overpowered in Mythic Plus, right? So yeah, I think that's kind of fair, like to not leave that one, not put that one in. But that's also out there. So anyway, 10-second CD on that. I don't think it has too many implications, to be honest. Death Grip does not have any type of cost. But I don't think there'll be much of a use to use it every 10 seconds, considering we're not going to be fighting like large caster packs like we might in Mythic Plus. And then I also changed Epidemic, the duration of the diseases, to last longer. And I think this is an incredible talent for what we're going to try to do. And I didn't actually realize it worked this way, but it's an incredible talent for what we're going to try to do because I really want to focus on actually using Blood Strike and Death Strike as our main spells. And so Death Strike is obviously a very famous spell, but in this version of the game, it's not what it is in Live WoW. But it does something very unique that I did not realize it did. It only heals you if you have diseases on the target. So I think I've actually used it without diseases on the target many times now. I didn't realize this until last night when I was testing these talents. Because like I said, I added this to go all the way to 5. And so it will eventually double the healing that the spell does, right? And I think that's a good thing because as of right now, it doesn't do a lot of healing. It doesn't really heal a lot. It's just like a very minor heal. But I think partially because, you know, I am not maximizing the disease element of it maybe. But regardless, it's a very minor heal. But 5% times 2, so that means 10% of your max health if you have both diseases up. And then it would be 20% of your max health if you have both diseases up with 5 points into that talent. So that is a very good pick. I think if you want to play this style, this like almost tanky DPS, which is what we are right now, that's the best talent in the tree. So I'm very happy with that talent. And yeah, I think I'm really onto something there. So that's what we changed. I don't think we made a single other change. to anything Death Knight related, but yeah, there's a lot in here that we are going to have a look at. There's a lot of really cool talents in this this class. It's actually crazy. I'm really happy with that, what we've seen there. So we're going to be taking a look at it. Don't you worry about that. Maybe not too regularly in the playthrough, but definitely going to happen. This just expired, yeah. Where's this gone at? Oh, it's above, right? Yeah. Wily. This is a really, really, really cool quest line. Me and Cop did a whole playthrough of this on, I think it was Season of Mastery. But, yeah, one of the coolest quest lines in the entire game, especially early on. This is like really, really good development in WoW. So yeah, that's that. Oh, started laying the foundation for our like potential gearing schema that we're gonna unfold. I really feel like this is like a beta. Like we're kind of in a beta right now. I'm still thinking it through. But what I want, here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, here's the plan. We're going to make every item disenchant into runed orbs. Why? Because the runed orb visual, like the icon, is amazing. I fucking love it. I absolutely love it. Okay. And then you're going to take the runed orbs and turn them in. Well, actually, I don't even know. Maybe I'm going to change this part. This part was my original idea. But here's what you want, okay? You want to disenchant. Basically, every item needs to have value. And we have no other way to do that. Like, since there's no inherent upgrading, like especially in Diablo 2, you can do this where you can upgrade like a normal item into an exceptional item or whatever, an elite item. You cannot do that in this game from what I could tell. I mean, you could do it if you make copies of every item and double their stats over and over again hundreds of times. It's going to take years and years of work probably. I'm not going to do that. Maybe the AI can help me. I don't know. But regardless, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to make every item usable by DEing it. And instead of, enchanting being a material that, there's not going to be materials for enchanting. This is how I handle it in TBC. Enchanting basically doesn't exist. Instead, customizing your gear comes through the gem system and all that. And so I don't love that. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to double this concept up for actual enchanting, maybe, in the future as well. But in TBC, what I did was you always have a gem received. You can have 2 or 3 gems received. And sometimes you get a bag with enchants in it. So I think I might do that again here. I'm not really sure. But the gems are not like the way we customize gear anymore. It's not like, the stats, you're not going to pick out hundreds of gems. Instead, we'll just let jewel crafting be jewel crafting. And, since we're going to pretty much stop at TBC, we'll farm the heroics for the best gems, and that'll be how we handle it, But what we'll do is every item DEs into a currency, basically, effectively. And then I think we're going to go with 5 of that currency will be used to buy, maybe I'll go with 3 at first, and we'll see how it goes. But an X amount of that currency is going to take us to the ability to buy a bag with the class gems, that concept in it. And now we have to go to Stormwind, holy shit. Okay, so yeah, that is how we're going to handle it. So you'll have, I think what we'll probably do is you have a chance to get 2 of the currency, but probably 1 mostly. And so then, potentially every 3 items you get that you don't need, you DE into a very powerful gem. Or, well, you're going to need to do both. And then 1 of the currency is used to buy 3 gem slots on 1 piece. And it needs to stay at 1. And that's why I'm thinking about going, expanding it. Because I was thinking about 5 for the bags and then allowing the currency to drop from 1 to 3 range. That's how we do it in the TBC one. But I can't decide because we need to buy the gem slots. Instead of me putting it on every piece of gear, I'm going to make you earn that. I think that's better, given the way the system works currently. Because there's so much power on the gear already that having the gems almost is useless. But this is kind of end game. You would want to commit to this when you have a piece that you definitely don't plan on replacing. because then obviously putting the 3 gem slots on it is going to make it overpowered as shit if you put really good ones in there. But anyway, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to like make it so it works out to a point where like farming gear matters, getting gear you don't want matters, and you turn that currency into power. And I think this is the only way to do that. So yeah, it's going to be you DE it into something, you use X number of those somethings to buy the gems, which are random. So, you know, there's going to be like probably at least 10, maybe more than 10. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really looked at that part yet. But there's going to be a lot of good interactions. Like, we're definitely going to, usually what we do is we just take like our favorite 5 rank talents and add rank 1 to the gem. So definitely having like this on here, you know what I mean? That's definitely going on there. Health provided by Rune Tap, that's 100% now, but it's not going to be with the gem. It's just be whatever the rank 3 is. Definitely going to have like this, yeah. Improved Death Strike, definitely going to be one of the options. What other ones are good? Probably Might of Mograine, like stuff like that. The really basic ones that just like improve your two-handed weapon melee stuff. I don't think that really is balanced. Like, I don't think it fits in very well. Where are we going? Oh, Old Town. Oh, we can turn this into over. But yeah, this would be a good one, but I don't think. I mean, maybe it works if you stack rank 1s, because like you have to stack rank 1s and they have to be compatible. So they have to be like an additive thing and not just like a flat modifier.
How are you?
It might work. So we probably give that one a try, because that sounds fucking awesome. And then, like I say, I really like the idea. Like, what is the max number of sockets? So there's 16 pieces. 16 times 3. 48. Okay, so it would be 1%. So you'd gain 48 more percent if you committed. Do you see what I'm saying? So you'd be able to effectively reduce. You'd be constantly taking 53% less damage if you put every single gem slot your character could have filled with that 1 talent point. Now, that sounds interesting on its own, right? But then think about how many items you'd have to DE to get 48 of those gems. Because like we said, even if at best there's 10, which is probably going to be more than 10 now that I'm thinking about it, probably 20. Let's say there's 20 gems, all random. Each gear piece can drop, maybe, we'll just say every 2 gear pieces you get 1 bag. So I'm terrible at math, you guys know that, but I think the math speaks for itself, right? It's going to take you a lot. You're going to be grinding. You're going to be farming. And I mean, I don't know. Is anybody else excited about that? Like, that's so fucking cool. I just added insane replayability to this game's basic-ass PvE structure. Like, classic through Wrath, basic-ass PvE. The most basic-ass PvE. I mean, I'm very happy with it. I'm very proud of myself on it. I really like that. So, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I've never done it. But my point is, you know, it's always going back to Diablo 2. And in Diablo 2, this exists to, like, the best degree ever. Like, I don't think there's a game that does it better, frankly. Like, farm, gamble, power. Yeah, you don't get that formula very well. Like, it's nowhere stronger than I've ever played a game that Diablo 2 is the strongest, okay? So, here's the big problem with Diablo 2. Stops me from enjoying it. 2 big problems. 1, class design, fucking garbage. Like, it's so fucking bad. It's basically just like, you're almost just doing it because you enjoy the gambling side of it. Playing the character, you literally just hold 1 button down. And it's like, okay, my character one-shots, like, you know what I mean? He just, like, owns, like, dominates. He's unkillable. But I just hold 1 button down. That's not, like, that's why I'm doing it in a WoW, first of all. That's, like, a foregone conclusion. WoW is never going to be that basic, no matter how powerful. Even if we did it, like I've talked about, where we can just, like, take this talent, and you have 48, like, so, okay, what would that be? So 48, that's 5%, so times 5, plus 15. So 255, that's not going to make it one-shot anything, I don't think, either way. But 255% more damage to Icy Touch. And somehow Icy Touch is the only global worth using, right? It's still more interesting than just holding 1 button down, like, right? You still are pressing the spell over and over again. And then there's going to be times when it's on cooldown or whatever, you know, like you can't, it requires a frost rune. You know what I mean? So like in order to maximize your ability to press Icy Touch over and over again, or I guess eventually Howling Blast if we had one that modifies that, like whatever the best version of this talent would be. Like if you had 48 ranks of it, it's not going to be, it's still not going to be that boring, right? So that's why we're doing it in a while. But what I was really trying to say was the second thing, the thing that actually stops me from playing Diablo 2 and loving it, and like that being like a game I put hundreds of thousands of hours into over the course of my life, the fucking content is awful. It's so goddamn bad. It is so goddamn bad, dude. Unbelievably bad. Like, I mean, I don't know. I never looked at Diablo 4, but from what I've heard, it is infinitely better content-wise, and it's still fucking garbage. Like, it is still so bad compared to World of Warcraft, to the point where, like, you actually just still end up ignoring everything because of your power, and you walk all over the content, and nothing that's even in the game matters, okay? So we need to desperately avoid that. Like, that has got to be avoided. Voltros. All the way down here, interesting. Desperately need to avoid that. Can we kill this guy? Can't even hit him. Yes, I guess. Okay. Anyway, we need to desperately avoid that. And so I'm hoping the game is already set up to avoid it. Like, if you think about the idea of a level 80 walking into ICC and trying to one-shot everything, you laugh your ass off. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's never going to happen. Okay? Oh, the messenger's here. Now, think about it with all the power we just talked about. Very much on, like, it's possible, right? But it's only not, like, definite because it's 25-man heroic ICC. You know what I mean? Or whatever content we're going to end up with as our pinnacle. I don't think we're going to do Wrath stuff. But either way, it's there if we want it. You know? So, and then, of course, we would be having to tank. Like, we basically have to be able to solo it. So we have to be able to survive it as well as do enough damage to do it. Like, a 25-man heroic raid encounter take, I don't know Wrath kill times, but, in live WoW, it would take at least 5 minutes. Like, your average kill would definitely not be under 5 minutes. So, alone, to make it a 5-minute fight, we would have to do 25 times more damage than the character was originally meant to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're stacking up all these probabilities that it's like, oh, yeah, that may actually not be reachable. Like, even with all this power that we're adding to our character. So you see what the goal is here? Like, it's going to take forever. Like, we would be in this boat forever, I think. Like, we could literally empower our character forever. And he still would not one-shot ICC bosses. I don't know, like, what the actual upper limit on maximizing this concept is, because I've never gotten to test it to that degree yet. But I don't think that can be reached. I really don't. I don't think you can get to the upper limit of it. Like, you can play this game 40 hours a week for months, and you'd still have power to be gained. Like, I could be way off. The only thing I'm worried about being way off on is the concept of, cheesing it. Like, if we do this disenchant thing, it means that the best way to gear up would be to farm the easiest content that you could one-shot. And, that's just, you got to suspend that. Like, just don't do that. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to go farm Dead Mines at level 80 to just, actually just run through everything. But outside of that, I think it's pretty much like we good, I think. I don't know. I'm really optimistic about this. We just dinged. I'm really optimistic about this whole concept. So we'll see what happens. And I also like the idea, like, especially on this server, it's very easy to do this. We can level infinitely. Now, I don't think there's ever going to be a way to actually level infinitely. Like, the way the game plays, it's just not going to work. Because you're going to be fighting gray mobs eventually. I don't think there's any way to make that a thing. But if we wanted to, we can make quests. Like, for example, I was thinking about doing this for the TBC stuff. Badges of Justice could be turned in for a large amount of experience. And so then farming the raids gives you gear and also experience even when you're level 80 already, fighting level 70 mobs. They'll be great, you know? And so stuff like that, and so then, you know, it's kind of like Diablo, where the Paragon levels or whatever, that kind of feature, you know, where you'll never stop upgrading your character's actual stats because you'll keep getting new talent points by leveling characters, but it gets to be, like, you're 250, you know what I mean? Like, how the fuck did you get there? Like, you're gonna be insane, like, to do it. Now, in order to do that, we have to define experience values for each level, which I don't believe exists. Actually, I mean, we could take a look. Like I said, I really want this to be like full exposure here. So let's see. Oh, that's the player bots one. Oh, is it not MSB EXP? No. Oh, XP. Okay, player experience for level. Oh. Oh, that's empty. I was gonna say, what is that? Okay, so anyway, here's the level. Every level requires this amount, and you see it only goes up to 80. So I guess we can probably just like just linearly extrapolate this or something. I don't know how we would do it. I'm not really sure, but we can do that all the way up to 255, which is the actual like limit on it because it's a integer in some way. I don't fully get that part, but yeah. I guess the way data is stored, it has to be mathematically, like, some type of equation or something. I don't really know. But either way, it's a famous thing in Pokemon games, too. I've heard it there, too, where the integer limit gets reached, and then the data spills over into the next integer, and it causes all kinds of problems. So anyway, 255 is the actual cap. But, yeah, obviously getting to 255, probably impossible, given you would not get any experience whatsoever from actually killing enemies anymore. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, you know the idea, and it sounds, hopefully, like it makes sense. I don't know. I'm really excited for this, but yeah, it's kind of sad. Like, honestly, I think I can do more here than I can anywhere else in modding. And I think the version of WoW that can exist in this will probably be my favorite version of WoW. Which is kind of, it's, yeah, again, sad to say because, you know, how much I love Live WoW and Mythic Plus and stuff, but, like, I can genuinely make Mythic Plus here and make it solo. Like I've been talking about all these years, like, you know, the worst part about Mythic Plus is the player base. Well, I don't necessarily know how to make Mythic Plus here, and I don't think it would be an easy thing to do, but, yeah, theoretically I could do that. And that would be pretty fucking crazy, to be honest, so you never know. Someday we might be doing Mythic Plus solo on a Wrath private server. That I don't have any plans for, but yeah, just one difficulty grind content. That seems really good. Oh, we're not actually done. We need... Where the hell are these mobs? Not here. Is there some more over here? Knuckle dusters. Oh shit. Spread the disease and Death Strike. Let's see what happens. Yeah, we're pretty powerful now. And these guys are pretty low level, to be fair, but... And I've always said, like, these concepts... I present them as, like, I want them to be very difficult baseline. I want you to wipe. I want, you know, you've seen a lot of deaths in this playthrough already, even though we're this powerful. I want you to fail. But at the same time, I want you to be able to use skill and preparation and planning to not fail anymore. And then you start, like, a speedrun journey almost. Like, it can transform into, like, how quickly can I level this character eventually, you know? And the only problem is there's, like, no automation tools like there is with Rested Experience, but... yeah, it can definitely work. Mark that. I think we're about to do that quest, right? I don't know. There's a lot of interesting stuff here. And I think very few people have tried to make a perfect single player game. Like, whenever I see people do it on private servers, it's always like, I'm gonna do it by making bots. That's what they do. And it makes sense because WoW is not meant to be a game where you kill everything by yourself. So they're trying to make it more like WoW-like, you know? but I don't need it to be. Like, we have live WoW for that. Like, if I want to play with people, play with people. Like, that's, you know, play with actual people. Bots are like the least interesting. Like, I would never even think about it. I like the idea of maybe like a pet, like a follower. You can do that with bots, like just recruit one bot and that's it, and you and him go through your journey together or something. But like, yeah, having a full 5-player team where you're just, I'm playing a healer in this. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, no, 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 no. No shot. Okay, anyway, inventory's kind of getting a little filled. We can spend some of those scrolls. But as you see, I have a lot of ideas, so I think this is our home now. I don't think we're gonna go back from it at this point. I already put a good amount of time into it. It was honestly scary to take that leap. I talked about this on the episode, but like I needed to kind of like exercise that ghost. Like I needed to out loud admit that I'm going to commit to a Wrath server. Like it's actually, like I said, it really stuck in my throat, like to say that, because I don't know. But you know, I've been thinking a lot more about Wrath. And even if I never touch the content, I'm starting to become a little bit more fond of Wrath. Because the content itself has a place in my heart. The actual gameplay was not good, and I don't like much of what Wrath did and didn't do, but I have very fond memories of Naxxramas, even though it was such a shitty raid, and I have very fond memories of Icecrown Citadel, because of the guild and the players that I got to play with, you know? Not quite as strong as like Mop, or maybe even Cataclysm, but it's there, so maybe exploring it a second time would be good. I don't know, we'll see. I probably won't touch actual Wrath content. As of right now, this entire concept is me brainstorming about a way to make TBC actually fun, and you know, make it as playable as possible. And so what I would do is all of this would stop at TBC. I would never choose to go to Wrath. I probably will on this character if I enjoy it, just to do it one last time. But who knows if I'm going to take it any further than that. That would be a good thing to kind of have a test run of, because yeah, I straight up don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. But regardless, if I had to make a choice today, I would say that the character would, you know, be able to level infinitely, and we'll take all the tech from Wrath, but we will stop at, I mean, you could even stop at Classic even, but yeah. You just stop at whatever expansion and then farm that expansion for the rest of the time, basically. And, you know, go try to solo kill Jaden, basically. And I think, you know, if you watched, it sounds maybe absurd, but if you watched how Mop Remix went for me, like, I don't know how many people did this or knew about this, but, like, yeah, you can actually solo everything in the game. Outside of mechanics. Like, it was not even hard, really. It was actually very fun to try to get to that point. And the cool part about doing it was empowering me. So it was like literally progression. Like I would go clear the raid, I would clear Throne of Thunder, and I would fail to beat a boss, and then the power I would get each day from the bronze would, you know, get me closer to killing the boss. Like it was actually crazy. Like it was like legitimately the best version of WoW progression I've ever seen, and it was Mop Remix. So I don't know if they intended that to be that way. I don't think they did, to be honest. Like, I'm not really that excited for Legion Remixed, if it does come, because I genuinely think it's not going to be anywhere near as crazy. Like, it's going to be more like a 5-player MMO, you know, like a game we have to play with friends to do anything. Because, like, in you know, Legion, there's Mythic Plus and everything, so I would imagine they don't want you soloing it. But if I can solo push Mythic Plus, Legion Remix, we're going to be doing a lot of, you know, that's going to be on this channel, too. But anyway, yeah, the concept of it and like actually being a progression target and being like, okay, well, kill Jaden. I don't know anything about these fights in TBC. This is a big reason why I want to do TBC as well. But like, yeah, anyway, like, okay, kill Jaden. Frankly, not possible because of mechanics. So we have to be able to one-shot him. You know what I mean? We got to keep grinding until we can actually kill him before his mechanics kill me. Something like that, you know? Like I'm ready, man. That's it. Like, that's so cool. Very exciting. Hopefully it goes as well as I hope it does. Hopefully it's as fun as I've never been this optimistic about one thing. But I will say I was very optimistic about the Pokemon game being my favorite way to play Pokemon ever. And you know what? It still honestly is. I wouldn't say it's not. But you know what? I just don't love Pokemon as much as I love WoW. So I almost, like, I never really played my game, which, like, it's kind of sad, but I just don't really play it. So yeah. I'm hoping that my love for WoW will carry us. Oh, I guess we'll just delete these. These are stacking like that. That's funny. Definitely inventory is in a bit of a state. Don't need those. Got another ring, but yeah. Not able to take the Calamitous ring off, so that's not going anywhere. Did we not loot the... Oh yeah, I thought we didn't loot the rare from... But that was something from a crab that we didn't loot. Probably just another... a clam shell or whatever. I don't think those are meant to stack. We gotta look at what that happens. Shouldn't have deleted those. They must though, because that meant that I only changed anything that already stacked to something that stacked further. So I guess they can stack in Wrath. I'm pretty sure in TBC when I did this, if you stack something, it will automatically use all of it if you use it. No, that can't be true though, because potions stacked, right? Yeah, I guess not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, obviously food stacks, yeah, I don't know. Oh, no, it's things that open. Yeah, so the clams, they just automatically give the shell now, or the meat now. You don't open them anymore? Yeah, I think that's how it works. Yeah, that's the difference. So that's why they stack. Interesting. Yeah, like straight up, like AoE farming is. I mean, I don't know. If the content is good and the gameplay is great, like I hope it will be, I don't know, man. I don't see any drawback. I don't see anything that I'm not going to be excited about. I just think that the tuning, like I said, we really need to get to the point where the content doesn't become trivial. And I'm just really hoping that because it's not meant to be a single player game, whereas Diablo is, like, you could do like players 8 or whatever, which I think just makes everything have, like, it doesn't have 8 times more health, I don't think. Is that another rare? Yeah, I don't think it has 8 times more health. I don't know what it has, to be fair, but it's not like it is in WoW where it's, like, way scaled up. Are we done? Oh, yeah. No, coach runners. Yeah, we still haven't even got one of those. They're all the way up top, I think. I'm hoping just like the way WoW works, and like, you know, there's 5 player, like I would like to do a lot of dungeons obviously, so we might have to do some type of thing for that, but yeah. If there's still heroic dungeons, I could look into how to make a mythic dungeon maybe. I don't know how you do that, so I think it's probably like I don't actually know how you change it to heroic in this, because there's not like a, you have to be in a party for that. If so, that's a small issue, but not a major one. Okay, this would be just burn through this shit. These guys aren't even like, they're gray. We just don't actually do AoE damage, which is the problem, so it's like still gonna actually die here. We should try to just spread the diseases, I guess, and rely on that. Eventually we'll have spells that do AoE damage. Okay, we'll just stop looting anything but stuff that fits in the inventory. What happened to my scrolls? Did I use them on the NPC or something? Should have had a bunch of scrolls, I thought. Wait, can you only have one scroll at a time? Wait, what's going on right now? Didn't I just have one and it just got replaced? That's weird. I like the idea of having scrolls be an infinite buff thing, but I think buffs work very differently in Wrath than they do in any other version of the game. Definitely some big drawbacks to using Wrath as our base. But I think you know, I still don't know what's not in the game in terms of like content-wise. I don't know, besides Nax 40, I don't know if there's anything missing. But I think it's probably fine. Yeah, I think everything here is here, so we'll see, I guess. That's one reason why I do want to try to go through it all. Like, this is a test run, and it's like a beta, but it would be a very good idea for me to finish this one way or the other. Like, this is not just for fun. This is for the future. And if I can't make this work, I need to figure out why, because I don't want to spend... This is the big issue. Like, last time, I spent all this fucking issue, or all this time on this, and then I didn't realize the server was crashing, basically. Like, I ran into something that really, you know, kind of punched me in the mouth there, and I was like, oh shit, what the hell? So I don't know why that happened. I still don't. I can't figure it out. Maybe the AI could help, but yeah, I think at this point we're probably just moving on from TBC, sadly. The only thing I know of that was in TBC that was removed was Kael'thas. Originally it was like a good guy. When you made a character in TBC, like a Blood Elf character, all the characters were really proud of Kael'thas and what he accomplished. But then, like, they make him into a villain, and I guess, I don't know why, but they try to turn him into an actual evil person. I'm not really sure why, to be honest, but I guess because the raid boss has to be the evil person kind of thing. So they deleted a ton of text and changed a lot of the quests to make it more friendly to him being the evil guy, basically. Like, nobody likes him anymore. And, I don't know. Not a fan. But I don't think that's even present in 2.4.3. Like, I think they made that change in 2.4.3. So I'm not even sure if that's the case or not. But yeah, probably the next thing we need to look at once we get all this sorted is add-ons. Because we're definitely going to need some stuff. I'm sure there's really good development of add-ons for this client. Because this is like the preeminent client for private server stuff. So if you can do it, I know that's a big issue with the TBC or with the classic client, is that it's substantially limited, and that's why a lot of people are pressing to figure out a way to make the 1 point whatever, yeah, the higher version of TBC basically, to make that work. Or I'm the you know, classic, whatever, Blizzard Classic 1.14 is called. They were pressing to make that work. What did we need the ochre for? I know I needed the flask of oil, but
what can I do for you?
I feel like I probably finished that quest.
Life bless you.
Okay, 3 enchants on that. Let's see what we got. Beast slaying, agility, and dagger skill. I don't think so. 17 agi is a lot, though, dude. I guess that's gonna get replaced when we use the enchant, though. Let's find out. Yeah, that's the thing that gets replaced. That's really weird. That's a bit of a bug, I think. I don't really understand that. So I guess that forces our hand there.
King's honor, friend.
Probably need to stop using that enchant.
For the Alliance. day to you.
Okay. Anyway, on our way to the dungeon, I think, right? Did we? Yeah, time to do this now. Gonna get the Van Cleef quest. Gonna try to solo it. I didn't really announce that yet, but I'm gonna finish this quest, and that's gonna be the end of the episode. And then in the next episode, we're gonna try to. Well, we might have to actually end it in the beginning. I might. I need these episodes to be a very specific length because I gotta get off. So I'm okay. Sorry to do it, but I'm gonna end the episode right now. Awkward, but thanks for sticking through it. If you guys are watching this, please let me know because I'm putting so much passion into this, man. Even if nobody watches, I don't even care. I'm doing it anyway. But if anybody gains any joy out of watching these and has any questions about any of this stuff, especially, I would happily help you guys figure this out on your own too if you want to try to make your own best version of WoW. But thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.